morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser. It's a Friday morning where we are reckless as always, and so reckless that might be flying solo. We'll see if Kazi is able to join us. Otherwise, I think we're gonna. Speaking of the devil, he shows up right away, like the devil himself. Kazi, what's going on, man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Not too shabby, not too shabby.
Um,
Kind of like going through the motions of the end of the season. It's feels really odd. I didn't get this feeling, maybe because of the COVID one, but I did not get the same feeling that I have now. Maybe that was like just like the first time in a long time. It was the first Premier League title and stuff like that. But this feels like it's dragging now. I mean, it sounds like a spoiled brat, but it does feel like it's dragging now. Just get it done and over with. Let's get to the Crystal Palace game. Let's get to the parades. I don't know. That's where I'm at.
so what you're saying is it's a bit boring. I'm
No,
kidding. I'm kidding.
I knew that was going to
I mean, yeah, it feels like that because there's nothing to play for us, is there? Let's be frank here. There's nothing to play for. It's just a very much kind of procession of the champions. But I will enjoy Sunday when they've got to give us a guard of honour and just to see all their faces. I think that's the big one. The Brighton game. Literally, I have nothing riding on at all. I couldn't care less. I just want to see a good game of footy. I want to see the lads play well, but I don't care if they win or lose.
Is that
how it
because
is.
there is not like, I don't know, we feel like at this point, we know exactly what we have. Like, I don't have a situation, and I don't think the manager has a situation. We'll talk about
Mm.
this like press conference in a little bit here, some of the things he said. I think there were some like signals there for the long run. But like we're in a situation where us, the manager, knows exactly what we have. So we don't have a situation, even with Bradley. I mean, people are making it like a Bradley as an experience based on what he said today, that the biggest strength being availability and consistency. I can tell he is not totally sold on penciling in Bradley as a number one for next season, is the impression I got out of that press conference. I know you watched it if you felt, but
Yes.
there are not a lot of players where we're like, well, let's see what he can do. Let's see what he can do. I think we know exactly what we have. So we know we're just waiting for the preseason. I mean, the transfer season to like get the pieces you need and move on the pieces you don't want and stuff. Not a
Yeah.
lot of experimentation we're interested in.
Well, there's a part of this as well where the window opens early because of the Club World Cup. So the window actually opens in like 2 weeks. And it's, you know what I mean? So the window's actually opening a little earlier.
Yep.
So there's that part as well. If you're Liverpool, if you want to do a Frimpong, for example, you might want him on the first day of pre-season because you go, hey, you've been playing right wing back for 3 years. I don't need you playing right wing back right now.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And by the way, you're going to be doing a lot more defending because, as Mo Salah's already told us, he's not defending anymore, and I've been told him not to defend anymore. So we actually need someone to defend and not just get up and down the line. So you might need to work with someone in the right back role at least for 6-8 weeks. I think he would be sold on Bradley if he was fit. I think we all would. I think we always say give the kid a shot. Do you know what I mean? I think we'd all feel like that.
Fitness thing is not a giving. Like you can't give somebody a shot on fitness.
That's
You know what
what
I
I'm
mean? You
saying.
can't, like Thiago, you can't be like, if he's fit, he's not. Like, so, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if he was fit, I think that's what we'd all be thinking. If he was
Yeah.
consistently fit, Liverpool can't think like that. Liverpool cannot think like that. Listen, I'm not the biggest Frimpong fan, but he has a £32 million release clause, which is Liverpool's perfect
Yes.
price. He's 24, Liverpool's perfect age. He's played the right amount of minutes, and he can also do the job of right forward for when Salah goes away.
Yep.
He just fits too many boxes. He's also has that thing about him, mate, where Liverpool at least, when you sign for Liverpool, you're automatically worth more money. So if he signs for 32 million, doesn't work out, you're probably still going to get 32 million for him at 26.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's that like weird thing as well if you give him 2 years. So it feels like too much of a no-brainer. But sometimes Liverpool don't like to do the obvious thing and just kind of go and do the left wing feel. I have a feeling, Tim, if it's not for Frimpong, they might just do a centre after. I don't know why. I don't know where I've come with this thing. I just think they might just go, you know what? If you're going to push Salah for now, I'll have to get like a formation tracker here to see what I'm thinking off the ball here. If you just do a centre after, go 3 at the back when you got the ball. Just go 3 at the back, you push Robertson forward. and then you just have an extra midfielder. I think that's how Liverpool might be able to get home a little bit. But again, I don't know. I just think it will be Frimpong. But
Who
I
will
would.
be on the right though? Like on the right side of that midfield, you still need
Who,
someone.
who you
Then
sign?
I think that scenario is a lot more suitable for
Salah.
Frimpong.
I think it's.
No,
But I
for
think it's suitable for Salah. I think it's suitable for Salah. But the problem is, don't you're asking Robertson to invert into being the extra centre half, which he might be, because that also helps Robertson and go. We're just going to really attack down the one side of Salah and Frimpong, which listen is extremely attacking and extremely threatening. I never, by the way, when I say I'm not a Frimpong fan, it's not his ability. I think he's got a lot of ability. It's just because he's not a right back. He just isn't a right back in his current system. So you have to convert him, which IE tells me, Tim, if you want to convert him, you need him in on the first day of pre-season. You need him in. You just need him in. It's just a way of
But
him.
the thing is, like, he is a little bit like, so he says Frimpong can be a long-term
No,
replacement or something.
incorrect.
No, because I don't think his strength is not really finishing as much as, bombing up and down the right side. But I mean, isn't Kirkes? I know Kirkes is more defensive and maybe beefier, but not as fast.
That's why
But his strength is bombing up and down too. I guess my thing is, if you get two guys that are bombing up and down, do you just say put three center backs and then have these guys basically right side and left side of almost like a 3-5-2, 5-3-2 when you're defending, 3-5-2 when you have the ball?
The argument is what Liverpool used to under Klopp. Fabinho would drop in there. I mean, I don't know, right number 6. Fabinho used to drop in. Gomez and Van Dijk would split wide.
Yeah.
And Gomez would be the first right back. When you used to have Trent and Robbo in their pomp of bombing forward. The problem is he doesn't want to play like that. He wants to play with 2 number 6s. I think that's how he wants to play.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know. He might be just have put a formation together which suits the players that we have right now. That's also another part of this conversation. We don't know what the manager wants to play. He might have just walked in and went, I'm not signing any players. I've just got to get the best of what I got. I look forward to won the Premier League because they're all really talented players. I think they just land on Frimpong because it just makes too much sense to land on Frimpong. But I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool just got a centre half in. If Inacio could play centre half and right back and not left back, I think that's what they could land on. I think they could just go. He can do both. He can play full back and centre half. He does that job for me. If Joe Gomez is fully fit, I'd be seriously thinking Liverpool might not do a right back in the summer. If Joe Gomez and go Bradley and Gomez, do you know what I mean? If you could trust Gomez's body to do the 60 games or whatever, this is why it's so frustrating about this season. Tim, last season Gomez played in 51 games.
Yeah,
last season. So that's
I love Gomez, man. I think
Gomez
he's good at center back. He's good at right back. He does the job. He's tactically smart.
Does left back.
Technical ability.
I know. If he's fully fit, Tim, he's as valuable as player as Mo Salah.
That's a big if. And do you want 2 big ifs in the same position? You know what I mean?
No, I think Liverpool just land on Frimpong because it just makes too much sense. I actually don't think Liverpool's trying to left back. I think if they do, there's going to be one that competes with Robertson. I think Liverpool will give Robertson a new contract. I really do, and I think they might sell Costas. Yeah, I think they might give him a new contract. I just think that if it's so difficult, I think we're dying for the midfielder. I really do think we're dying for the midfielder. I know people don't want to hear that, but we only have one Szoboszlai. Like we only have one.
Why people like when I listen to different things online and even in like on TV, like studio shows and stuff like that, everybody passes the midfield in Liverpool. I just don't understand the concept where I don't know if you noticed, but they addressed the right back now that Trent has gone. Before then it was left back, and then they just jump over midfield and they start naming center forwards and stuff. Whereas I do feel like, and clearly the manager feels like, because that's why we went after Zubimendi, that he actually does want another core top-notch guy there. I mean, he keeps talking about hard to find a guy that's better than the guys you have. But I really think the manager really does want, so he can tweak things more, push Mac up sometimes, or, give Szoboszlai a rest, whatever the case might be. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why everyone that I listen to skips over midfield for needs. I think it's still a big need, especially if you're not going to stick with Elliott and all these guys that don't get chances.
But also the club think it's a big need because they've been trying to sign number 6 for 5 years. So the club think it's a big need.
Yeah.
The club genuinely, Lavia and Caicedo and Tchouameni and Zubimendi, these are all close to coming to Liverpool. So Liverpool think they need to sign a big one. I have my small doubts about Gravenberch, just because he's fell off a cliff since February. And maybe that's just a lot of football. Maybe that's just because it's far too much football that he hasn't played in 2 years. I think there's bodies that we definitely need in there. I want number 6 badly. I really do. I want number 6 alongside Gravenberch. I'm not saying like a Fabinho type, but if you did have a Fabinho type, when you've got the ball, Tim, why there's no harm in pushing the Gravenberch / McAllister into the number 8 role and having, if you could trust them to do it. Do you know what I mean? If you have a big number 6, there's no harm off the ball going Fabinho. Let's say it's a Fabinho and Gravenberch off the ball to McAllister. And then when you have the ball, going to Fabinho and going to Gravenberch, you go there to Szoboszlai and McAllister role and go off 2 number 8s and have that kind of creativity in the front as well. I don't think that's a bad idea. The manager might land on that idea. I don't know. But it's very difficult, man, because I've had enough of the assumption of fans, especially, going, well, this is what the manager wants. We have no idea. I can't judge the manager on what he wants. Yeah, but you know what I mean? I don't know, Tim. What's his player? I don't know what his signing is. Do you know?
Summer is so interesting because I think the guys we get are going to kind of tell us, oh shit, this is what he wanted all along. I think we have no idea. And it's like, that's what makes it interesting. And that's why every rumor is weird, because you know how I hate rumors, but every rumor almost is like, could it be? Because maybe that's what he wants. Like he wants to do this and stuff like that. In the past, I think we could automatically say with Klopp, if you heard the rumor, you're like, that's freaking stupid.
Yeah.
But you could just wash it out. Now I find that, like Frimpong, like whatever, like, all these names are being thrown out, except the one with Kevin De Bruyne. I think that was really over the top odd. But
do you think though, Tim? Do you think?
I think so. I just don't see this club paying. First of all, I don't see this club making the same mistake twice.
Let's see if the
get like a specialty guy on high wages with high risk, because we know what happened with Thiago.
Okay. So,
and I think they would rather spend that money and get a guy that does everything you want. I mean, you talked about being able to replace Szoboszlai. Well, that's not him, because he can't run half of Szoboszlai. I mean, basically, it would be like a really good passing Elliott is what you would get. He can't replace. I know when that chat was going, and I was like, okay, I'm out of here because these scenarios are getting out of control. He's not going to play defensive midfield because that's still a lot of running and space covering. He just cannot run anymore. And I feel like, I mean, he's a great player. We'd love to have him. I just think it's too much of a luxury to have a guy who can only give you like 20, 30 minutes off the bench at those high wages. Because if I'm over there as McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai and stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is going on over here?
I think in his defense, now I've got a defensive De Bruyne. He's been selected in the squad 30 times out of 35 league games this season. So I don't think that's bad. I think that's good availability, actually. Would you say that's fair? That's good availability. So this thing of he's consistently injured, I think is a slight bit of a myth. I think he had a bit of a falling out with Pep Guardiola.
But look at his minutes he's played too in those games. I mean,
but I also think
have been like subs. I mean, them subbed out. You know what I mean? He can't give you 90 for sure.
I mean, the last few games, I think he's went really deep in the games, and Man City have been winning.
I mean, we've had Elliott play in the last game, so
of course, yeah, of course. But I do think that there's an argument with De Bruyne. And let me just put this in. Forget the money for a second.
Okay.
Just Liverpool sort the money. If you've signed Van Dijk and Salah to win now, that means you want to win now. There's no rebuild. You want to win right now. You fancy yourself to go City in a bag of rags. We have no idea, and Arsenal are just, might press the self-destruct button at any moment, because their fans, as soon as they lose a game, it's self-destruct. As soon as they win a game, it's like, oh my God, we're the greatest team in the world. We can have not a dynasty as such, but we can really kick on and win a couple of trophies. What he could provide you, and you've looked around the whole midfield and go, you know what? There's no one really out there who you fancy. I don't think you could go much on with just doing De Bruyne as your deeper lying player. And let me tell you why, right? I know what you're saying about the number 6 and a lot of running and stuff like that, but that's why you're paying Gravenberch to do your running. That's what we do with McAllister right now. McAllister doesn't, I wouldn't say covers a massive amount of ground. I don't think, at least. I don't think you could go far wrong with a deep playing at De Bruyne to go with Salah. Liverpool are losing so much creativity in Trent in passing, so much, that you might look around the whole and go, you know what? There's no one even remotely as creative as him. We wouldn't go far wrong for 2 years to go, we'll give him a 2-year deal. He has that Suarez hate along that he did for Atletico Madrid when he just hated Barcelona for a year and went there to prove them wrong that he wasn't finished and won the league. And he might have that hatred in him with City at the moment and his manager to prove him wrong and go, fuck you, I'll go there and win a trophy. I don't think you could go far wrong to go, we can just evaluate this midfield option in 2 years and see what's available then. I just don't think you could go far wrong.
Here's my thing. First of all, people will hate me for this, but, and I think we talked about this with Tush in the past, but this whole, we're losing a lot of creativity with Trent thing, I think is a little overblown. I think we enable and we let Trent do his passing. So he does it a lot more than others in terms of trying to force things and stuff like that, because, and the manager has spoken about this before, that, hey, that's the guy's strength. So let's freaking use it, because God knows defend. He's not going to defend. You know what I mean? Like, that's his strength. That's all he's there for. So we're going to use it to the max. We're going to swing the ball and try to create a situation where he has the ball looking up the pitch, right? I think if the Trent is not there, the way you play automatically changes. I think we play with enabling Trent to try his creative passing, which sometimes has kind of backfired with like poor diagonals and stuff like that. But I think if Trent is not there, you play differently. And I understand you still need some creativity, but I feel if you're giving 60% of your creative chance opportunities to Trent, you take those away and sprinkle it to the McAllisters of the world, even Gravenberg and stuff like that, and give more to maybe Van Dijk and stuff. I think you don't have that huge gap that everybody makes out to be. Because I know, like, you know, if you look at the numbers, the assists and stuff like that, which have obviously fallen because the way we play has changed over like the season and stuff like that. But I think it's a little overblown because we're using him specifically for that, knowing that's his strength, and you got to milk his strength, because otherwise you wouldn't have him on the pitch with the weakness that he has, right? So that's why, and I understand the Kevin De Bruyne thing. I just think it's too, because I know you said don't throw the money away, but I don't think you can, because you're throwing a lot of wages at somebody, because I would think he's going to demand those wages or something close to what he's getting now. And he's just not going to be reliable. I mean, have you ever like turned on a City game, Kevin De Bruyne is out, and you're shocked that he's not available that day? No. You know what I mean? It has almost become a semi-norm. Oh, he's out again, kind of a deal. It's almost like Jota-like or Gomez.
I understand that. Listen, and I understand that, and I get that point, and it's completely fair in what you're saying about the passing and stuff like that. I just think what strength you have to milk his strength, and I get that. We haven't got a midfielder who can pass a ball. We genuinely don't have a midfielder who can pass a ball. Like McAllister can't, but I think McAllister's playing too deep to do it. That's the other part of this. I think McAllister just plays too deep. So that's where they might land on, let's just say, De Bruyne, to go, you know what, and we can do Jones, De Bruyne, Gravenberch, McAllister, and Endo. We can play that mid position. You can get us out of jail for 2 years, and then we can go and have a look at the market again and see who's available. This is what I say about football all the time, by the way. Someone always pops up. Someone always pops up. Kirkes wasn't the flavour 18 months ago, but now he was the flavour. Remember, it was all 8 Nori out of Wolves. He was the flavour of the month, wasn't he? And now he's not. Now it's Kirkes. Yeah. So it's like, you might have another.
The amount of Kirkes rumors and ties just tells me.
8 Nori, by the way, it's just dead. No, he no longer exists. 8 Nori's not a thing anymore. He was just like a myth of our imagination. By the way, he still had a pretty good season at Wolves, by the way. But I just think you might land on something like that to go, you know what, for 2 years, we'll just have him in, see what you can get out of him for 2 years. I think you might have that little hate in him for City at the moment, and Pep Guardiola to like, I'm going to prove you wrong and I can still play at the top level. I just think for a player who's been available 30 games out of 35 this season in the league, just in the league, I think that's pretty good availability.
The only way I can see him playing is how we played against City, where you almost play 4 midfielders.
Yeah.
And you put like Mo and Diaz up top, or Mo and your new striker up top and stuff like that. I can see him fit there, and he's more like the guy in front with Szoboszlai, and then you still have McAllister. I can see that. I just don't know. It goes back to, we don't know if he's going to be. I'm going to get to Rosa's question, because I think that brings us to Arsenal, and I wanted to ask you about Arteta and his clown work. Stiller from Stuttgart says Ozan Kabak, yes, he played center back. I don't know enough about him. I'm not going to pretend to watch him a lot. When I heard the rumor, I looked into him, and that's his biggest quality, is being press resistant.
Yes.
And that's my thing. The guy we get for that position, I personally think is going to be somebody like that. That's going to disappoint the hell out of everybody in terms of name and where he's coming from and stuff. He is going to be recruited based on quality. So I feel like that's a lot more realistic rumor just by profile than, I don't know, like a guy like Kevin De Bruyne, for example. I think the guy we get for midfield is going to disappoint the hell out of everybody in terms of name and stature. Like, because it's going to be a guy that, let's face it, everybody tries to act the expert because they watch like 3 YouTube videos of Stiller now. But, it's, and I'm sure it's Stiller or something like that anyway. But, I mean, I don't know. Do you know anything about him? I don't know if you follow Bundesliga or not.
I just know he was the Endo replacement. So now we signed Endo. Now we're just signed as a replacement. Like, he just came in. I think he came in after Endo and to play the role kind of thing. Listen, his stats look all good. I watched a bit of him. You know what I mean? He's the right age profile, I suppose. But Liverpool might end up on that. But throwing 60 million at a lad who's been a Stuttgart for 2 years just doesn't feel very Liverpool. But also at the moment, I don't know what feels Liverpool anymore because this is a kind of new regime and it's a new type of doing things. I don't know. There's money to spend. We know this. We've just won the Premier League as well. So I don't know. But again, I've got a feeling that this manager could be just completely ruthless in terms of what he wants.
Yeah.
And I've got that feeling. And he might just go, Curtis Jones, for me, which, disappoint me, of course, because I think he's a good player. But there might be just players in there where he just goes, you're not for me. And that's it. And Szoboszlai, you're not for me. You don't create enough. You don't get enough goals like I asked you to back in September. You don't score enough. I don't know. Do you know? Again, we just don't know. That's the unknown about all this. So, I don't know. It's interesting. It's going to be an interesting summer.
Cerzis keeps banging the biceps drum, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I think it makes this 2 split window thing makes it a little bit interesting, just because I don't know if you get a first batch and then you see what happens and get the second one afterwards, like if you have a need. And I don't know, like there's like O'Connell and stuff like that. I don't know if they're looking at one of those players to eventually bump up to the squad. I do see him a lot with the U21s, and he looks really good, but he's in U21. So, I mean,
my argument
with good gauge to look at it. Adam Wharton, don't get Kazi will go on for like, there we go. That's the end of the show. We're going to listen to Kazi talk about Adam for like 30 minutes.
I love him too. I'm in love with Adam Wharton. I'm in love with another man.
Speaking of, Kevin can tell us all about
Kevin, sorry. But if Kevin's here, I might as well talk
about part of Adam? I mean, look, he's a good player. It's funny because I just went and saw Sinners at the movie theater. And I feel like it's the same scenario. People like, before I really like kind of put the spotlight on them and like watch them, everybody is like, this is the best thing ever. You gotta like. So like I went to Sinners, I was like, it's good, but it's not that good. Like you guys made it sound like it was like the classic masterpiece or something like that, which it was really good. If I had not heard it from people, I would have probably enjoyed it more because I would have given it more. I feel like it's the same with Adam Wharton. People talk so highly of him. Kevin is not giving him away even. From Palace, but I like. What is it that you're like? You know what? He's the perfect guy. Like that's the guy I want.
He can breezes past midfielders, takes the ball in the half turn, uses both feet so well, can pass a ball through the lines. He's got the lot, and he really struggled early on this season. But he was playing injured. The manager said he's injured, but we've got to play him. He had an operation. He's come back. He looks.
Line him up then, yeah.
Yeah, he looks so much better since his operation. When he's come back, he's looked unbelievable. I just think he's got that right age profile. Listen, it's going to cost you about 80 million. So I think they paid a top dollar for him. So that's going to cost you 80 million if you want him. But I think he does the job for 10 years. Honestly, half turn Tim, he's so good on the half turn. We talk about Gravenberch's little body movement that he has to get past the player. It's just a joke. Both feet, you can pass it to any. So what he's really good at, he receives the ball so much under pressure. It's a bit like Wijnaldum type when he's just passing the ball really under pressure, and he'll just use it because he's not the biggest lad, but he's got that frame where he'll just hold the ball up, find the right pass, and get out of trouble really quickly. And when you're playing against a team with a high press, he's really good in that tight half space to get the pass off, and then before you know it, you're on a 4-on-4 attack. Do you know what I mean? He's that good. He can play deeper. He can play behind the man. He's so good, honestly. I think if he puts on about
one thing I loved about Genie, man, like you could. I played against guys like that, and I hated it. You just can't get around them. It's like, dude, what the hell? He's not even that big, but just can't get around him.
You can't get the ball off him, man. Honestly, you can't get the ball off him. He's so good, mate, and he looks like he's getting bigger as well. Looks like he's realised he's got the muscle to put on. Do you know what I mean? I just think he has that ability to him. when you see a play, you know yourself, right? When you watch footy and you see a player on a hard turn receive the ball and just do a little bit of jinking movement and he's gone, you're like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You always judge playing on first touch. That's how I judge footy players. What's your first touch like? If your second touch is a tackle, you're not very good.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean? But if
exactly.
your first touch, he just looks after the ball so well. And I just think in Liverpool's midfield, if you are looking for that Szoboszlai type, but he also plays deeper, Tim. He can play in all three of the roles for you. That's the other part. He can play in all three. And it's like, just do Adam Wharton. It's just the most obvious thing just to do him. You know what I mean? I hope they do it. I really do, mate, honestly.
The thing I like about players, and that's not like, Gravenberg, I feel like McAllister, I like players who don't have to look to do the pass, to do the half turn and stuff. They already know where everybody is around them. I mean, that awareness, I think, is what makes, especially a midfielder, I think that awareness is what makes a good midfielder. You got to know exactly what's happening. That's how you become press resistant, because you already know which guy is open as the ball is coming to you, because you know exactly what's happening around you. So that's what, that's why I really like Gravenberg and stuff like that. But we'll sign a couple of English players. That sounds like the old days where MLS was signing players based on nationality. But so we're not going to be able to. Xavi Simons, what do you think about this dude? I mean, if this happens, Nunez is gone, Rosa. We actually decided that probably like 6-8 months ago. Kaza decided that 1.5 years ago, and the rest of us have sold him off 6 months ago. Just doesn't have the maturity. Talk about first touch. Like, he just does not have the technical ability, tactical ability, finishing ability. Just needs like something else, I think. So yeah, he's gone. What do you think about Simon? I guess this is going back to, what kind of a guy do you want in the middle?
Not him. That's not him. And I always worry about players. Why didn't PSG want him? So PSG are signing all these young players, Tim, right? These young, attacking, hungry players, but they just sold a young, attacking, hungry player, didn't they? So why didn't they want him? I always worry about that. Why is this player being loaned out twice? Like, I don't get it. I don't get what he's about. I just think he has that that thing around him of like, I just think he might just flatter to deceive a little bit. Like, he might look good in a World Cup and a Euros, and everyone goes, he looks great, and then actually, if you're watching him day in, day out, and you go, actually, he's not that great. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. He's just not for me. I wouldn't be over the moon if he signed him. Let's say.
I would be confused if we signed him. Let's put it that way.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's a really good note. That's a really good way of saying it. Like, he doesn't fit the bill. He just doesn't feel like a Liverpool player. Also, I think Leipzig paid like 50 million plus like fucking crazy amount of bonuses for him, which they might have to pay out. I also think PSG have like a buyout clause, like not a buyout clause, a sell-on clause. So if Liverpool want to buy him, it's going to cost you 70 million. I just don't think Liverpool are going to throw 70 million on him. So
yeah, man, that's why this offseason is so freaking interesting in terms of who we bring and stuff. But Rosa was asking a question earlier, so I do want to get to that, because this has become a good comedy, and I think I'm enjoying it way too much, the whole Arteta thing over there. And the things he says is getting more and more stupid and confusing, it feels like. I mean, first he said something like point totals, we would have won and stuff. You're like, what are you talking about? And then now he says the best team. Like, we were talking in the panel show. Ayo said something which I think is like, he tries to be like Pep too much. I almost feel like he tries to be, when he said those comments afterwards, I took it as he's almost trying to be too many top managers like, that was like something that Mourinho would say. But you're not Mourinho. You're not at the same level in terms of like winning. You got to be. I feel like you can get away with some shit as a manager in the press conference if you have won it and if you've been there. He's saying, like, his comments of the best team in the Champions League went out. It just sounds like too delusional. And when you already have a fan base really split on you, it doesn't help saying stupid stuff like that, because the guys who are already like, this guy is not the guy, are saying, and he's delusional too.
I couldn't agree more. Listen, I'm not an Arteta fan. I appreciate what he's done at Arsenal. It was a wild thing to say. He's a bit weird. The thing is, though, Tim, right, sometimes I say this all the time, when you're trying to sell a story, Jurgen Klopp was trying to sell a story in those early years, right, of like, we're going to go on this journey together. It has to eventually come with a big trophy at the end to go, look, here's the end of this journey. Liverpool had it with Kiev. They took that. They had it with the Europa League final. They lost the League Cup finals first season. They go to Kiev, lose. And then the moment happens of like, oh, we can actually believe this fella now, like, oh, because what he says, we believe now, because what he said came true and we all had a big Potter show at the end. I always go back, Tim, to Liverpool's season, the 2021 season, which is COVID. And we're playing Ozan Kabak, our friend, and Nat Phillips centre half and Reece Williams. And it was just a batshit season, right? Batshit crazy. Liverpool finished third in the end, by the way. The manager can sit down and go, don't worry, lads, we'll win again. And they believe it because they've won before.
Yes.
The year after, Liverpool nearly win all four. Right? That's how wild that is. Literally on the back of them, don't worry, lads, we'll make a couple of adjustments here, Bamang, and Liverpool nearly win 2 trophies, 2 days out at Wembley, and lose the big 2. When you're doing this kind of stuff, and Arteta's doing, the lads might just look and go, we're not having you anymore. Because what you're telling us, you told us to change our style. So let me get this right, by the way. Like, everyone just thinks Arsenal now has just like been this massive long ball free kick team for 5 years. They haven't. They were actually really attacking last year, and they actually had a goal. If you actually look at when I pulled this up previously, and I'll put it up again for the table this season. So Arsenal have only scored 64 goals this season, and if I base that on last season, Tim, Arsenal scored 91. Yeah. So last season, that tells me. By the way, they only conceded 29, which is fucking ridiculous, by the way. That's some serious record. That tells me that's a team who had a style of play, had a really attacking, flowing style of football, where now I think he's got to the end of last season and his head fell off that he haven't won the league on 89 points. I think his head's completely fell off with it. And I think and then he's tried to change the style completely, and it hasn't worked. So about the injuries or you like, the fall off of Odegaard isn't great. Whatever you like, right? But you're the one, Mikel Arteta, to let Emile Smith-Rowe go. You're the one to let Fabio Vieira go to Porto on loan.
Yep.
Who were attacking players, who were contributing in that season. Okay, not a lot, but when they were coming off the bench, they looked like tardy. For example, if Liverpool lose a lot of lack of creativity next year off the bench and he sells Harvey Elliott, we'll also then go, well, he sold Harvey Elliott. Yeah. Who came off the bench and changed games for you. That's on you. Yep. So you made those decisions. You made the signing of Mikel Merino because you wanted to get bigger, taller, stronger, and have this more of a physicality style. You're the one who signed Calafiori because you wanted this big, massive, huge. Do you know what I mean? These big men. It hasn't worked. His head fell off a bit after PSG. His head fell off. Yeah. Right? I do think that his head's completely fell off. There's a part of this. If you get done a home and away loss, the best team went through. If you lose at home, lose away, the best team goes through. Listen, when Liverpool beat PSG away, we all fucking knew that it was the biggest robbery in Liverpool's history.
Oh yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? And we all hold our hands up. Liverpool lost their own to PSG, and we all went, they're the best team we played in years. They are literally the best team we played in years, apart from the City side 3 years ago. I think he's at the stage where the pressure's turned right up on him, where he's just, and he said things, and I don't think they're going to sack him. Let's get that out of the way. I don't think they're going to sack him. But I think he has to get out of that style now. This thing of like...
I mean, they went on a run last year where they were like 5-0, 6-1, 4-0, and stuff like that. But
I think they won the last 12. I think they won the last 12, you know, by a lot of goals. They won the last 12, I think, last year or something like that. It was crazy. Tim, Joe next year, Joe, the first thing he has to do is tell that set piece coach to sit the fuck down. I don't want to see you standing up on the line. Just tell that set piece coach to sit down. That's what you go to training for. I've been talking
about it for weeks. It's just like honestly, team is like telling him where to take the throw in and shit. It's like, dude, just fucking let him play.
Let the lads make their own decisions and play. By the way, in this thing against Real Madrid, right, where he goes, oh, the best team went out against PSG. I knew, by the way, they were the best team against Real Madrid. I'm not taking that away. Okay. It was 2 free kicks.
Yeah.
Unbelievable free kicks that got them in the lead in this position. right? And then they go away, they get battered for an hour, and then score on the counter. Which, by the way, I would expect Liverpool to do the same if Liverpool were in exactly the same position. That's exactly how I'd expect the game to go. By the way, Liverpool did that against City in the Champions League. We beat them 3-0 at home. They battered us for 45 minutes, then Liverpool scored on the counter. Do you know what I mean? And then kill them, then take the soul away from them. So I just feel like Timmy has to get to next season. He has to sign a striker. He has to sign 3 or 4 players. He has to replace Thomas Partey, who's out on a free. And with everything that's going on with Thomas Partey, I don't think he's going to give him a new deal. And then I think he's at that stage where he just has to get back to his old style. I don't think this has worked. I think his head fell off a bit with it. I also think he was probably... Listen, Matt, Arsenal this season, I believe, have won 18 games of footy in 35. They've won 18 games of footy. And by the way, dropped points in 17. That's not the form a title can... Newcastle have won more games than them. They've won the same amount of games as Nottingham Forest. And by the way, Nottingham Forest, they've had a half-decent season. They win a lot of games 1-0. They win a lot of games by 2-1 or 1-0 because that's how they play, and that's fine. They drew 13 games to them. But when you see scored 64 goals, conceded 31, so they conceded 31, 35, and last year in 38 games, they only conceded 29. It just hasn't been good enough throughout the board.
I almost get the feeling, man, and he'll have. I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere, but I think this will be his. If there's no trophies, this will be his last season coming up over here. Like it's now or never. I think, because you already have a lot of people. Which look, you can't go by Arsenal fans on what they say because it flip flops like every 30 seconds. But because when the league went away, they put all their eggs in this because of the Real game, which I agree 100% with you that. That was 2 wonder free kicks that won that game against the Real Madrid team, who was really shaky defensively, and it's not like the old Real and stuff like that. By the way, loved the dig that Slot had for Real during the press conference, saying when he was asked about players leaving, like finishing out their contracts, he made a point of saying they all go to one club when they do that, and it's Real. So I really liked the dig over there. But anyway,
he definitely tapped them up. They tapped them up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like saying it without saying it. I'm really warming up to him more and more in the press conferences. His humor is starting to show up and stuff too. The whole Trent thing, I thought Trent thing was really good. But I think, like they won that game that way, and then everybody were like, all the eggs was put in this basket. And then, like you say, I think it's almost like Arteta is trying too hard. Like he's a try hard. Like stop trying too hard. Like trying to kind of like be this guy maybe he wants to be, but he is not. And I don't know why he keeps pushing the agenda and like it's like sideline thing. I don't know. As a professional player, look, even towards the end with Klopp, we said this, right? The message starts getting old. And in the first part, especially if the old manager was not like that, the guy on the sideline might be giving you some drive and energy and stuff. But dude, we've all played the game. That shit gets old after a while. Like it might push you in certain parts of the game and stuff, but these are pro. I mean, these are not like us playing. These are pro guys. They don't need that 24/7. I just feel like he kind of
the intensity.
Yeah, I mean, after a while, that shit gets old. Like, okay, shut up. Like, I got this. Like, have you ever like been on a team where the guys on the sideline, like the subs, are saying shit? It's like, dude, we know. Shut up. Like, we got this. And that would get old. And like you say, these guys are pros making millions. They don't need to be treated like they're U13, being told where to take the throw in and stuff like that. He's literally was on the sideline in the Champions League game in the first match, telling like to go down the side and stuff. That's the shit that I see now when I ref middle school. Like where the coach tells them where to take the throw in and stuff. A guy who's making millions, Partey doesn't need to hear where to take the throw in from you. Like, I got this. That's why I get 200,000 a week, because I know where to take the throw in. I don't know. It's just like his style. I really think still he's the guy before the guy. And I think he will have one more season to do it. And then I think somebody will come in with a fresh voice and it'll be Slot-like. I think it's not when you replace Arteta, it's not going to be like replacing Wenger or Ferguson or Klopp or anything like that. I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for the new guy who comes in.
No, I think that's completely fair as well. I think there's a part of this as well, Tim. When you're under pressure as a manager, first of all, they're overly coached. I think we agree with that. They're probably overly coached. Yep. You should have just rested the players against Bournemouth. You should have just rested. You didn't. You went full strength and lost 2-1 at home. So there's a part of this where sometimes you just got to give the fans what they want. sometimes you have to do it and just go, okay, I can appease you, rest 7 players, just do what they want. Do you know what I mean? And kind of like, you've tried to be too clever again. And that's why sometimes that's what I think about managers. They try to be too clever. You're trying to be too precise.
Well, that's Pep-like.
I mean, but with Pep, though, mate, I would say, I don't know what you're saying in terms of the overly coaching. I don't think he's on the sideline telling them where to take a throw in.
No, like sometimes, like try to, like he's done this like against us in the past. Pep, like trying to be.
He's too clever. Yeah, Champions League final.
Sideline antics, but like trying to be too smart and tweaking unnecessary things.
That's completely fair. I think sometimes with the selection, he starts to be too smart, and I do agree with the selection because I always go back to that Champions League final against Chelsea when he just plays like De Bruyne in the false 9, and you're like, huh? Just play Jesus. Or I think he had Jesus. I can't remember who it was at the time. So Aguero could have been. So I do think there's that side of it. I think there's a part of this, though, Tim, where with Pep, at least, he lets the players express themselves. I know what you're going to say with Jack Grealish and that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Vincent Kompany took a shot from 30 yards against Leicester when they were struggling with 10 minutes to go. Yep. So, if he didn't feel comfortable doing that with 10 minutes to go in a game that he had to win, he wouldn't have done it. So he would have given them that. He gives them that license as well a little bit. I feel like they don't get any license just to express themselves. I feel like he's at the stage with Saka, and I'm a big Saka fan. Is that you don't want to see him be that coached out of him? It's a bit like Yamal, isn't it? At Barca, you don't want to see a coach out of him, but it might get coached out of him because that's the way footy's going. So I don't know, man. I do think he'll get the summer. I do think he's going to get next season. Is he the man before the man? Maybe. But I tell you what, mate, they're leaving some good pieces there, aren't they? If you're a manager, you look and go, fucking hell, I need to add two to this. It's like Slot, isn't it? Just walk in here and go, fucking hell, he's a good. Fucking hell, just change a few little things here and this would be great. Do you know what I mean? So they get that part as well. I think they're on a stage with Rice as well. Rice, to me, and I'm a big fan of Rice, by the way, he just looks a bit fucked. Looks dead. And I'm like, he didn't have to play him against Bournemouth. He doesn't have to play against Bournemouth. You're like, just
that
give
was like
him
a huge risk. And when we talked about it on the panel, like I know we said, hey, it's one of those things that's going to be hindsight. If they go and win, it's going to look smart because you got him playing and stuff like that, momentum. I think the biggest thing is they lost that game. Like you go out with that squad and crush Bournemouth, I think it's a morale boost. You go out with that squad and lose to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a whole different ordeal.
I do want to mention, though, Rose's question, right, about the Chelsea thing. Now, that the trophy that Chelsea...
As a Chelsea fan, I'm assuming, hey,
I mean, my Maresca thing's a bit weird, but Chelsea are a bit weird at the moment, I think. So, the trophy that they're going to win is, let's be frank here, Chelsea were the favourites from the start and will win that trophy.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like, it's not an important trophy to Chelsea. I should say. It's not. It's an important trophy, but it's not to Chelsea. Now, Maresca's a weird one, man. He's just... This thing about the midfielder playing the right back role or the centre half playing the right back role, he's done that with Caicedo a bit, and it's worked. It has worked a little bit with Caicedo doing the right back role. I'm at the stage with Maresca where if he gets the Champions League and gets at the trophy, that's literally what the target was going into the season, was to finish in the Champions League and win that trophy, or win a trophy. And he can walk in, he can sit there and go, well, the two objectives that you gave me is done.
But for the long run, would you say? Because I agree, I 100% agree with what you're saying. Because I think in the beginning that was the goal, the Champions League. They had a huge start, mainly due to Palmer's form. Right, Palmer was the one, like carrying it around, and you knew nobody can go on that form the entire season. So the moment Palmer started dropping, Chelsea started dropping. But I almost feel like that team was second at one point, and they weren't ready for it. Like they were ready for being for the Champions League and no high expectations. We're gonna do our thing, take it one game at a time. The moment the pressure came, that team, maybe including Palmer, started crumbling because they were not expected to be that well. But they were in the title talk. Well, not us, but some people's title talk.
In December, they went to Goodison Park, and if they would have won that Saturday, they went top.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Because Liverpool played on the Sunday. They drew with Chelsea 0-0. Sorry, Everton 0-0. I always remember Maresca's interview before it, going, we're not in the title race, we're not ready. And I always think to myself, going, why would you say that? Why, like, that's such a weird thing to say. Yeah, we'll fucking give everything that we got, blah, 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 and give the players that confidence to go, well, don't give players an excuse because they use it. Arteta's just done, by the way, Arteta's done the same of all the injuries, everything that we've come through this season. And then the first thing that Rice says after PSG was going, well, after everything we've been through this season, don't give players an excuse because they take it. They always will. They take the excuse that you're going to provide. He provided that excuse. It doesn't help Chelsea that they haven't got a goalkeeper who has hands. That doesn't help anyone. He has no arms. All the keepers have no arms. They've signed all garbage keepers.
A lot of
So,
feet, not enough hands.
mate, honestly, if they go and sign a
They
keeper
all
with
look
hands,
like a player who was put in goals. Like, man, I don't want to play goalie. Like,
genuinely though, yeah, like they're at that stage where if they just go and sign a keeper with hands, they might be half decent. I think they're a weird team. I think they've really missed Jackson when Jackson was out injured. Because I actually think he's a really good focal point. Jackson. I actually when he first came in, I was like, I don't like him at all. Mate. He's a bit garbage. And then he's proved me wrong because I actually think he's an half decent footy player. I actually think he gets it as well. I think he's got that jovial side to him when he's a bit of a joker and he's a bit of a
he's not a great finisher, but he's definitely. I mean, he is a huge upgrade to what we have in the center, that's for sure. So
he's a great foil for Palmer as well. I think he's a great foil for when Palmer comes back to his form. I think he's a great foil for other players to play well. So he has to figure out what his best team is. He's played this Conference League side, which has kind of got him over the line as well. He's got players there. He's got good pieces there in terms of Madueke and stuff like that. I think he might just land on Neto, Palmer and Jackson going forward. I think he has landed on that, which is the right thing to do. And then they just signed this other winger from Benfica for 60 odd million. So I don't know. I kind of feel a bit sorry for him in that sense. I don't know if he's a good manager. Because if you remember with Leicester, they win the league by a counter. But you remember those last 7-8 games when they were trying to get over the line, they just couldn't get over the line. It took like 4 weeks to get over the line at Leicester on this line. Like they started, Leicester were a bit like, well, like they kind of got a bit doubtful. And I don't know if he's good. This is the thing. I don't know if he's good. And there's also past this, Tim. I think football's changed massively now. Where I think if it starts to stay at top 5 Champions League places, let's say, because of England continuously doing well, Chelsea win the Conference League, an English team's going to win the Europa League.
Yep.
Like Arsenal went deep to the semis. This is all coefficient points. I think he has a point here, mate, where getting 80 points is going to be really difficult. I think Liverpool could be at the stage, Tim, where Liverpool could actually cut themselves off from the rest. I actually think that's what could happen in the next 2 years. And let me tell you why. I think that all the other teams, but I'm including Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Villa, Newcastle, I think, can they all get over 80 points? I know City can because they've done it before, but has this City got over 80 points before? I don't know. And I actually think 80 points, you're no longer in a top 4 race if you get 80 points. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you get 80 points, you're not in the top 4 race.
Yeah.
I don't know if the other ones can get over 80 again. So what I'm saying is 80 is always the base mark to try and win the Premier League. 80 is like the bare minimum to win the Premier League, in my opinion. Liverpool's shown that they're the only ones who can still get 80. Right? Liverpool got over 80. Next season, mate, I have a feeling that I think if you keep finishing in the Champions League 2 or 3 times on the bounce, that you could be a big club. I think if Villa finish 5th, it might be as good of a season as anyone's had in years. Because we all thought the pressure of the extra games might really cost Villa. Villa still might finish in the Champions League. That is a ridiculous season for Villa, I think. By the way, Villa in the last 2 games, they go to Bournemouth away, which is a tough game, I get that.
Yeah.
But they play Spurs and United. You couldn't handpick better sides to play in the league. Yes. You couldn't handpick better sides to them. All I'm saying is that the team now, those teams might take enough points off each other where they might not be able to get 80. That's my argument. Arsenal have a thing right now with Newcastle. It's a bogey team. It is a bogey team. Newcastle take points off them all the time, beat them in over 2 legs in the League Cup as well. City, we have no idea what they are. What are City? Do you know what City are? Because I feel like, to me, I don't know because of the rebuild that they...
No, we'll see what they... I mean, it's still not the old City, but I think the thing they got going for them is they have Pep, right? I mean, I think that's where I'm at with them. I have a lot more confidence in Pep kind of doing a rebuild and putting pieces together than some of the others.
And that's fair, but my argument is here, Tim, the keeper needs to go. We argue that.
Yeah. All of them. I think they have like 7 of them.
Yeah. He needs to have he has a big conversation about Rico Lewis at right back because Kyle Walker's left. Is he going to put his house on Rico Lewis to play right back for him? He could probably do another centre half because John Stones is going on a free unfinished. Left back is an interesting position. His midfielders, Bernardo Silva's been trying to get out the door for 5 years. Kevin De Bruyne is leaving. You've got a Jack Grealish issue. You've got a Jeremy Doku.
Many pieces moving?
This is what I'm saying. Liverpool for
Okay,
the
I
next
mean,
two
might not be a one-season deal. You might be right. Yeah.
I think the next 2 seasons, Liverpool can really like set a mound here of like, no, we're there, and then everyone else is here. I'm going to back that none of these lads can get over 80 points, but Liverpool can. I think Liverpool can win the league next year on 84 points. I think they can do it again on 84 because I've just got
really,
honestly, Tim, I might be proven completely wrong. I just think if Villa finish fifth, Tim, look at the fucking squad they got now. They're going to add 40 or 40. Like, do you know what I mean? If they get in the Champions League and they might go, Villa finishing back-to-back Champions Leagues, they're a serious outfit. If you finish back-to-back Champions Leagues, that's a serious outfit, in my opinion. I just think that might happen. Honestly,
I
Tim,
think instead of like the big six or like 2-3 teams running with it, I think what's going to win the league moving forward is basically what we've done this year, is being consistent. You don't have to be blowing people out, but there's a lot of pretty good teams.
a lot
right?
of good.
There's just junk, and then there's some like, but it's a bunch of like pretty good teams with like potential. I mean, Slot keeps talking about every team having like 2-3 guys that you would like to have or you wouldn't mind having in your squad, kind of thing. You look at Bournemouth, you look at Brighton, you look at Fulham, like a lot of teams that have quality. So being consistent is going to be more important than just winning this game 4-0, winning this game 5-1 and stuff. Like, get your Slot special 2-0, rack up 3 points.
This would be
And that's how you're going to win a title.
Rosa
says, as a Chelsea fan, he's an assistant coach. Rosa, you have to message us and come on Tuesday night show and talk about Chelsea, because we talk a lot about Arsenal recently, but the Chelsea talk, we do have a Chelsea representative, but you got to hop on and talk about Chelsea with us. But
on this, and this is my last point on like how the strength of the league is, right? The team who are 15th in this league is Man United, and we know they're a bag of rags. We understand that they're absolutely batshit crazy. They just beat the team in La Liga who were fourth, 7-1 over 2 legs.
Yeah,
they're fourth in La Liga. They're good for. They beat them 3-0 at home. That's a good fucking outfit. Like that.
For United, for example, do you think that if that shows more that if United had that same focus week in and week out, they would not be 15 in the Premier League? Or does it show how better like Premier League is than La Liga?
I think it's how much better the Premier League is. I really do. Wolves went there and beat them last week. Wolves have got players, mate, that Liverpool want. Literally, apart from the bottom 3, and again, I've spoke about this before regarding the relegation, the other 17 sides are really good, Like, they're not unreal, but they're really, really fucking good outfits.
Do you know what I mean? Some players you would want to get, and that says a lot. In the past, you didn't say that. You wouldn't be like, you can look at every squad in the middle of the table and be like, man, I would love to have him. I would love to have him. At least name 2 or 3 players.
I've never looked at the team who's 17th in the league, like West Ham, and go, I'll take 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah,
like I'm 17th in the league, and I would take 2 or 3 of them comfortably. I'd take Matt Pillman now as centre half. But if you look around the league, I just think to myself, Liverpool might, honestly, mate, when I think about it more and more, and I've been thinking about it a lot, Liverpool just might set a precedent and going, those teams won't get over 80, but we can, and we know we can. All we have to do is get over 80 and see where we're at. And I've got a feeling that's what might happen in the next 2-3 years while City get their shit together. I have a feeling that Arsenal might press the self-destructive button next year and everything falls apart. Do you know what I mean? Because it feels like they're on the verge of a self-destruct. That's all I'm saying.
The pressure is more and more and more and more. Like, to get something. And that's...
I think you're going to have a really big surprise title challenger next year. I think you're going to have a really big surprise title challenger.
I'm going to say number 7 is coming. I think number 21 is coming, personally.
I'll take 21.
Yeah,
just
I think
21
as well. Well, speaking of, we got the 20. I don't know how much we care. He did mention, he kind of said both things at the same time. He did say in the beginning of the press conference that it will be more the same thinking. So you will get some guys. But then when he was asked towards the end of the press conference, he introduced Bradley as that guy almost. Like, well, I already told you guys Bradley's starting. Do you just see like Jones and not as much of a thing as he did against Chelsea, or will he just roll out what he wants to roll out? Doesn't matter that it's Arsenal. And somebody was asking if, I can't remember who it was, but if Arteta says to Arsenal players not to give the God of honor, I don't think that's just too unclassy to do, even by Arteta.
No, because I think he'll video it and go, do you want this to happen again?
Oh, yeah, he'll play it before every practice. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
I want you to feel this in your stomach. in the changing room. What you're about to do? This is what I want to be
We will
champions.
show the video and blast "You'll Never Walk Alone" in like their like where they're like get ready for
Honestly,
practice. Yeah.
honestly, I reckon it's going to be. I reckon Arsenal's bus is going to be coming through. It's going to be Arteta throwing flares at it. Get the feel for this. Arteta's throwing flares at his own bus. Just fucking throwing bottles at his own bus.
Feel it, feel it.
Yeah. But I just listen. Going back to Liverpool a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what he does. I don't know. I think he's going to go strong. I think he's going to get his best 11 out. I think he's at that stage where I think this is one of the games he wants to win. Apart from Palace, you know what I mean. I think it's going to be this, and I think it'll be back to the strongest 11. Be interesting to see what he does up front. Yeah, exactly.
Or set piece coach showing people how to light flares.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, showing people how to do it because no one else knows. They can't cross the ball. They never passed the ball before. Then these
showing Partey how to light a flare.
Yeah. But I mean, listen. I think Liverpool will go fully strength. I think Bradley has to play. He said this. Bradley's playing, and that's that. Like Trent's out basically. Trent is out.
Yeah.
Still. And he said if Bradley
was. You think Trent comes in even as a sub?
No.
Or does he not? I almost felt like if it was the Brighton away game, I can see that. I don't know if he wants to risk the reaction because you can kind of tell that he knows what the reaction is.
It's bubbling under the surface. It really is bubbling. Like it will bubble over. Like especially if he makes a mistake, costs the goal. It's fucking bubbling, mate.
Unless the game is really in hand, I don't think he rolls the dice. But that's interesting when like he's gonna slide because we know Bradley can't give you 90. So he's gonna slide like Endo over there, or he's gonna put maybe Kwanzaa in there to play right back or something like that before putting in.
I'm glad you mentioned Kwanzaa actually today. You mentioned Kwanzaa, saying I thought he played really well against Chelsea, and so did I. Thought he was bang unlucky with that pass. Thought it was a suicide pass from Szoboszlai, to be honest. And like the kid, I thought he played well. I didn't think he was. Oh my god, he's amazing. I just thought.
Yeah, that's on Szoboszlai, not on.
Mate, it's such a short pass, and then and I quite like what he said about the consistency part and. He likes him a lot. I think he likes him a lot, which is nice to see because he is a kid. He's going to make mistakes. He's centre half. So when you make a mistake at a centre half, you usually get punished. Do you know what I mean? I see loads of.
So do you buy that though? Because I can see when I was watching it and listening to it, I almost was like, a lot of people are going to take it that he really likes Kwanzaa. A lot of people are going to take it that he's trying to drive Kwanzaa's price up.
No, I think he really likes him. I think Liverpool got too much business. I think he has a big decision on to do with Joe Gomez. What are we doing with Dibu Konate? No one wants to talk about contracts to him in the thingy anymore.
I don't.
Like, does he? No one wants to ask. Hey, do you want to let people run down to 12 months of contracts anymore? Like, we understand it was batshit crazy 2 years ago, and that's why we're in the position we were now. Do you want to let this to happen again with Robertson and Konate? Is this what you want to do? Like, no one's asking that question. So I think he likes Kwanzaa. I think he'll keep him. I really do, and I think this game's for them as well. I'm a fan of his. I think he gets stick to him. But when he plays with Van Dijk, I think he's great. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't get over the top. I like his confidence that he has in himself. I mean, a lot of players, especially their age, after making a mistake, when they come back in, they play safe. They don't want anything to do with the ball and stuff like that. And he's complete opposite. He just plays like he has that. The only thing is, from game to game, it doesn't carry. Right, he has the short like cornerback memory, like they say in the NFL over here, where he forgets what happened the last game. The only thing with him is he does not forget within the same game. If he makes a mistake, it just goes south really fast within the same game. He'll show up 2 weeks later and he won't act like anything happened and he got benched. But within the same game, and that part of it, that is age, right? And maybe like where he is, and maybe he's kind of confused at where he stands and stuff like that. I think within a game, when he starts with a mistake early, you kind of feel like it's going to go south fast over here with him. But that could be an age thing too.
Yeah, that could be an age thing as well. And I could feel like, this is my only opportunity for 2 months to really impress, and I've made a mistake, and now I don't feel like anything's going right. And I understand that as well. I just think he has a lot of ability. He has a lot of things that I like, qualities that I like, and I think he'll keep him. I think there's too much business to do. I think Liverpool need another big centre half. I really do think they need another big start and centre half, but we'll see.
Score prediction?
2-2.
2-2. That's that's the feeling I'm getting too. Like scoring draw is what
Yeah, I mean, listen, both teams got nothing to play for. You can say Arsenal's got something to play for, I suppose, but Arsenal are going to finish in Champions League. They got Southampton away on the last day. They're definitely finishing in the Champions League for these fans. They might have Newcastle and Liverpool, but they got literally a bye on the last day. I just think I predicted thingy last year, didn't I? In terms of the last week, I predicted Chelsea to beat Liverpool 2-1. It was 3-1. But I just think, listen, the intensity is not going to be what we want it to be. The crowd might get the crowd might react, and the players might get up for it and go, fuck this, we'll have a proper game of football here. And they might want that. And the crowd might have to be there to really get the intensity back up. But I don't think it's the end of the world. The one thing I'd say, though, if Arsenal take the lead, it could be feral. Of like, no, this isn't going to happen today. Like, we're not having Arteta running down the line on any day here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it could be feral if Arsenal take the lead. But yeah, 2-2.
I just hope he does something like, gets the crowd going again. He had done it way back with Klopp and stuff like that, where we were in a lull and he got the stadium going. I just hope something like that happens, because I do feel like there's like going to be a lull and they might have more of a reason to come out and prove themselves after getting out of Champions League, being beaten by like 15 points or whatever the hell it is now in the Premier League, to kind of like prove themselves. But at the same time, this is kind of like an emotionally broken team now. Just got eliminated from the Champions League, got beat down. There's all this
another week off.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a bad situation for them. But sometimes, it depends on how this team responds, right? They might try to fight out of that thing and kind of like, this win will put it away kind of a deal. Whereas I honestly don't think the Palace game, last game home, is going to go well. I like see us losing that one 2-1, because they'll just wait. It would be like Stevie's last game. Like, it would be like waiting for the final whistle so we can start the party.
I think it'll be.
I don't think
Palace
is not a good team to do that against on the.
I like Palace, but I think Palace the week before playing in the FA Cup final, so they could be on the beach.
Oh, that's true too. They're
on the beach, aren't they, a little bit? If they win the FA Cup, they could be like, fucking hell, this is two teams having a party on the pitch. I reckon they're going to be doing like passing the ball to each other. Like, just only, you have a kick, do you want to pass it back to me? Like, just don't beat each other.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot about the FA Cup final, because that could be it could be like, just go out there with like champagne glasses. And
there's nothing I want more than Adam Wharton strolling around Wembley, going through Man City's midfield. There's nothing I want more in life than seeing that.
I'm just gonna watch him, Adam Wharton. Like,
it'll be a mad game. Do you remember that Chelsea game that we had when we won the league? It was like 5-3. It'd be like a mad game like that, honestly. It was just loads of goals. No one's asked.
The one where Lampard was talking shits, like
I think it was that way, And then Lampard sent the free kicking. Because you see Milner's on the bench crying his eyes out, laughing. I love
just that. Like pointing at him,
laughing at him. Yeah,
brilliant. I just hope we get a win, but I mean, I don't know. I'm in the mood where like, whatever. I mean, we'll probably be doing the live watch along, so do join us for the pre-match, and then we'll do the live watch along here this weekend. So do join us for that. I just don't see myself getting too high or too low, regardless of what happens that game. We freaking won. I love when he said in the press conference, by the way, to tie it up with, where he said, they will want to win because they can finish second. Then he said something like, whatever we do, we're first. So I was like, damn right. That's so well said.
He's won the league and he hasn't shaved since. He's just like, his head, it's a bit like myself, he hasn't shaved his head. He's got like a bit of a beard now. He's just like, nah, mate, I don't care, fella. I'm flying back to Holland. I'm going to Amsterdam most days for the boys.
He's like going around with sweatpants now.
And by the way, and that's how he should be. You've done the hard work. I don't care. And he's probably like, lads, I think he said in the press, I've given the lads a few days off again.
He said that because I was like, he's like, we'll see it today. I'm like, bro, it's Friday. What? Like,
I'm banging into the idea of looking at the lads going, I can't be arsed looking at Darwin Núñez's face for a week. Just fuck these lads off. I can't be arsed looking at him. He's doing me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I say, whatever happens, it's gonna be like the Chelsea game. It was just like, whatever. Like, it's like, we won. So, but yeah, that's it for us today. We'll be here Sunday, back with the live watch along. So do join us then. Hit a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. As I always say, grab a friend by the ear and bring him over our way. Hopefully they won't be disappointed, and we won't be disappointed. Whatever happens on Sunday, we'll be here for the live watch along. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Saturday, and we'll see you guys Sunday. Take care.